everything. Is it okay. So right now I have it going to YouTube and to
Jessica, we are live.
Hi everyone. Sorry.
So welcome to this week's. This is actually our kickoff of the Viral Cash Flow podcast. We're excited this afternoon to have our special guest, Wendy Nicole Anderson, join us. Let's give her a round of applause. Welcome, Wendy, to the show. And so let's get started. So, Wendy, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your superpowers are and what you offer to this creator space.
So I'm a business system strategist. I'm a single mom. I live in Atlanta. I love to work with solopreneurs. I teach service-based entrepreneurs how to streamline and automate their business systems so they can escape burnout, work with the right clients, increase their profits, and save time.
I love that. Look, that one line pitch, you did it. 90 seconds or less, right? So tell us more, Wendy. So you talked about streamlining and automation. We know solopreneurs are trying to do everything in their business, right? So what does that look like for your client, Wendy?
So one of the reasons why I got into this, I came from the corporate arena, and I didn't really like how the customer service experience was just convoluted. And a lot of the times when people are leaving corporate America, they're trying to go full-time in their business, they get stuck. They really don't know what all of the moving parts are. So if you work a job, you have a department for sales, you have a department for marketing, you have a procurement, you have fulfillment, you have anything in place for legal or concerns or anything. The issue with us creators, we're great at what we do. But when it comes to service deliverables, managing client interactions, filling up the pipeline, we just get stuck. So I was like, there's an easier way to do this. I saw a lot of people trying to offer premium offers. And I'm like, you're trying to charge $6,000, $12,000, $15,000. And for what? This is not even a premium experience. If you want to have a better work-life balance, you want to maintain your reputation and deliver on the promise that your services says it's going to give to the client, you got to have certain protocols in place. And most people didn't know what that looked like. I started out doing this because I decided initially I wanted to be a life coach. I'm not warm and fuzzy. I'm just not. And once I was going through my certification, I realized I didn't really know much about the online business space either. And so she didn't really teach me a lot. Then I went on and found this big guru on Twitter. I did all of the things, paid all of the money, and I was really pissed off about that experience. And nobody was there to really help me piece it together. So I built it myself. And so when I first started coaching, people were like booking with me and they were like, oh, this is just so professional. Who built your systems? And I was like, I built them. And my business just kind of happened. And they were like, well, can you do this for me? And I realized I'm kind of an introvert. I like watching my ratchet TV and building things and not having to talk to people a lot every day. I just talk to them at a minimum. And I've been doing this for 10 years. And so I just keep finessing my framework, and here I am. So that's just where I'm at. And then now my new phase is I want to help small business owners and solopreneurs really operate like a Fortune 500 company. Like I want them to have the prestige of a Fortune 500 company. I know they don't have the overhead or they don't have the capital, but you can refine your processes to where they can be a little bit more sleek and give your clients a better experience. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Wendy,
and I heard something. Go ahead, Jessica.
Yep. I love what you just said. All of it. Wendy, let me tell you how much business owners need you. A lot. And I had a similar experience going through a guru's, and I was like, this is it? Like, I thought I was going to see more this, y'all. But I say that to say, too, I feel like I've had conversations with folks that I've just helped with just simple stuff, like 1, 2, 3 type of stuff. And they're like, I'm in someone's course and I'm in somebody's program and they don't have, I'm like, they ain't got the simple Like making sure your Zoom go to your Dropbox. Like, come
No.
on. They're charging you $5,000 a month though. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't want to, I can't call anybody out, but I have an amazing client that I love, and she joined this incubator thing. I'm talking about, it was a $60,000 investment. And she was like, I'm going to give you the login. I just want you to log in, kind of see what's behind the scenes. She was like, I just been really impressed by, all the things they were doing. Girl, I was so disappointed when I logged in and checked all those systems. I was just like, I said, Lord, you see me? You see me? I was like, these people are just robbing people left and right. And I don't know. And so, but I think we're in a culture of grind culture, and people are overworking and they don't know where their focus needs to be to get the maximum return. And so I'm at a point where you don't have to do all of the busy work. How can we cut the fat? And a lot of people are hollering, build a team, outsource. Well, you can't even do all of those things if you don't have your SOPs defined, standard operating procedures. I ask clients all the time, how long is it going to take you to manage those deliverables? Because they'll say, oh, I want to make $10,000. Then I'll ask them questions like, what is the actual end result the client is going to get? They can't answer me. I'm like, what do you have to take the client through in chronological order for them to, one, release the thing that they have been doing that's not getting them results? You have to take them through a process to where they can make a commitment to themselves and set a goal. Because a lot of times people are just getting hired and like there's no clarity on the front end. And then once those two things are done, then what is your proprietary process that you're taking them through in chronological order for you to reach the goal? If I say I teach service-based entrepreneurs how to streamline and automate, there's a process you need to go through. And by the time you're done, your day-to-day operations need to be streamlined. There has to be something in place to generate leads, nurture those leads, upsell those leads. When those leads make the investment, they did need to be onboarded to whatever they paid you for. There needs to be service deliverables for that and checkpoints. There needs to be something in place to where the customer knows where they are in the process at the entire time. If people hire you and they got a 20,000 questions, buyer's remorse is going to happen right away. And I'm like, what do you have in place to reassure people that they made a good decision? Yeah, Lorraine might have referred me to you, Jessica, but I don't know you. You still got to perform. And then a lot of people are taking money, and then it's days that go by and the customer hadn't heard anything. I'm like, what are you doing? And then they're mad. Well, they want a refund. I would want a refund too if I didn't know what I was getting into. So I do a lot of different things when people come to me. It just depends. I have a lot of C-suite executives to come and hire me, doctors, attorneys, whatever. I have a person that, Wendy, I'm just great at what I do, but I don't know where to start. And so I meet people where they are.
You have dropped so many gems just now, right? So coming from big company innovation, big companies don't do a lot of things well, right? But they have the resources, like you mentioned, Wendy, right? So
Right.
a lot of times it does not translate, right, to solopreneurs, service-based businesses. And so I'm intrigued. I'd love to hear more about, kind of the product offering that you have. And, you talk about really servicing these solopreneurs, but what are those products specifically? And giving you some time to shout your products and services out.
The first thing I do with people who are not really familiar with me, they can book a complimentary call. And the reason why I do that is I need to qualify the lead. I need to see if I have anything inside of my arsenal that I can even support you with. Because a lot of times people are getting frustrated in the online space. They're like, I got all these appointments, but nobody is hiring me. Did you qualify them? Is there something in place after they book with you that tells them everything they need? Every time people get on the phone with me or on Zoom, it's automatically, how can I pay you? Whoa. Is what I tell them. Let's back it up. Let's figure out if I can help you. But the content that goes out to them after they inquire with me, that starts to show them my track record of success. There's testimonials, there's different questions, there's things that takes them through a mini audit to where they're like, Wendy, just filling out that intake form, I already know I'm in a pickle. So that's first level. I naturally like people to do with the scale up strategy session. They can pick multiple ways to work with me. They may come in and they say, Wendy, I'm posting all over social media, nothing is converting. Wendy, people are in my pipeline or in my funnel, nothing is converting. Wendy, I have this offer or I have this idea, but I don't know how to put it together. My biggest thing that I love to do in that session is to like get on Zoom, log into their systems with them, and actually flesh things out, build it out for them. Well, Wendy, I have these systems, but they're not connecting. And I don't like to use jargon with them. So I said, you need them to talk to each other. And they were like, yeah, I need my systems to talk to each other. I said, let me show you how to do that. Once we go in there, I'll help them clarify or build out or problem solve one major thing, and they'll get clarity, but then that clarity gets them to thinking about the right things. But I can't do all of that in a 60-minute session, but they're happy. When they're done with that, I'll tell them, if you really want to get some traction, go into my solopreneur business mastery intensive. It says it's 90 minutes, but I put them in like an incubator. We work inside of Basecamp, and I do a full audit of their entire business. I tell them we can go back and optimize one signature offer. We can redo it, or we can build it out. All of your intake forms, all of your deliverables, your SOPs. We'll flesh out all the content that needs to be on your website. That's another issue. People are pissy about the website situation. They're not getting results from these website developers because they don't even know what to tell them. And I tell people, you can have all the content in the world, but if you don't know how to place it the right way, we have a problem. So then a lot of times the website developer think it's the client that's talking to them. It's me. I project management that as well. I'll go over there, send them a loom. Hey, this is what I need this website to look like. Da, 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 da. It comes back, client is happy. After that, if they're like, Wendy, everything is effed up, I need a total rehaul of my entire business, then they come into what I call automate to profit, where I'll go through every inch of their business and I'll either restructure it or we just start from scratch. And so those are really on the main three ways that I work with people. I'm the fixer. I like a person that has a skill set. They're great at what they do. They're having success, but my clients, they become their own bottleneck. And they're like, Wendy, I want to maximize my capacity, but I don't know what that looks like. And a lot of times my clients are so busy, they miss the minute things that can move the needle inside of their business. And I'm like, hey, you just went on Facebook and you did a live. You have an email list of 3,000 people. Let's repurpose that. Let's get that out, put an offer in there and send it out. Client calls me, oh my God, 7 people signed up for blah, 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 blah. So it just depends. I'm looking for the gaps in their business to see how they can work smarter, they can make more money, and they're not doing more work.
That's awesome. I think what you said all along, remember you said you wanted to be a life coach, but then you're not. Mm-hmm. I think you still are doing that. I think you're absolutely still in that like life coach direction. You know what I'm saying? Like that clarity.
Yeah, I normally ask them, walk me through how this makes sense to you. Because I tell them if it makes sense to you and you can articulate it, it's going to make sense to more people. But I refer to myself as a consultant because I don't be like, well, Lindsay, what do you feel in this? I don't do that. I'm like, this is what I talk to them like I'm a consumer because I'm a consumer. And I'm like, when I'm looking at this is the reason why it's not converting or doing whatever the hell is going on. These are the things you need to do to fix it. And then they have an option. I'll tell them everything they need to do to fix it, and they can go implement stuff on their own, or they get overwhelmed, which I love. When can you just do it for me? Absolutely. What the investment is going to look like for me to do it for you. And then they laugh about it. But, it takes it off of their shoulders. And so I enjoy it.
Think about it. Lorraine, do you have any points you want to go into before we move into some of our viral topics that we have?
Oh, yeah. I've been a client.
Lorraine came to me 6 years ago, and she's an ideal client. Lorraine was already making multiple 6 figures before she hired me. She just needed to she had a whiteboard. We did like this bubble chart. She just needed to look at things from another perspective. It's not like she didn't know what to do. Lorraine got more systems to me. She's got bigger business than me. Most of my clients are more successful than me financially, but she just needed to sort some shit out. And after that, she's in a whole nother dimension.
I didn't know, I know systems existed, but coming to the online space, I didn't know, okay, what happens when you need an invoice and what happens when you need, to book an appointment and you want people to follow up. All I know is I didn't want to be doing the crap every single time. I had to, I always envisioned myself being in front of a lot of people. So I knew I didn't want to send out a bunch of emails by hand and be writing this and writing that and doing those things. So when I found her, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this, because I don't even know what I wanted to even really offer at that time. So, working with Wendy really helped me gather just not only my ideas, but just gather my businesses. And I have several businesses, and in each one, I've been able to use something that she taught me as far as just systems and processes. Automation and outsourcing has always been my jam, but I didn't know how to apply it to an online space. And that's what that gave me.
And many people are like that. Yes, many people are stressed out about it. Sorry, it's the four-legged child. Many people don't know, but it's like, I think one of the things that I pride myself on is people say, when do you just make it sound so simple? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk to you, say things over your head. I'm gonna break it down because I want people to get it. And a lot of people are like me, they're single mothers, or they're already overextended. They have a lot of other hats that they're wearing. They just want a better quality of life. I'm not here to stress them out.
That's beautiful.
Jenny, you want to take us into our viral topics? And I put a couple in the chat for us to kind of go through, but you guys let me know. Feel free to let me know if you don't want to talk about either of those two. I'm just grabbing at this point. But I know right now, Kate Middleton is missing. That's a huge one.
Is she not?
That's what they're saying. But we like to kind of talk about, or with the guest, after you kind of give a little bit of your background and how long you've kind of been in the space, we like to roll into some viral topics and talk about some things that content creators can use and how they can utilize these viral topics to go viral themselves, right? And how they can make profit from it. So now that you all know that Wendy is available for systems, because you're going to need some systems when you finally go viral, you're going to absolutely and 20% need some. Okay, so we got Jenny. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to you for that one, so you can read that one off.
Yes. All right. So we've got two headlines, Wendy. Two headlines. The first is Missouri teacher who resigned after school found OnlyFans page gets fired from new job. I don't know if she cares because she probably bringing in bank.
Right.
On that OnlyFans.
Show my feet online, make $30,000 as a teacher. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't get it.
I'm gonna go over there.
That's what they expect these teachers to do. Y'all are literally paying them peanuts.
Crumbs.
I just feel like I don't understand why it's anybody's business. It's not like the students are going on there and finding it. And even if they do, it's after hours. It's not like she's doing it at work. And I think sometimes people forget that folks are human.
Yes.
I think somebody's daddy got on there and found it, and you know how that goes. That's
or a coworker.
Yeah, coworker or something like that. But I mean,
they're already jealous.
Right. I just, it takes me back to those days where I'm gonna tell them my age here, but back in the 80s and the early 90s, to see a pregnant teacher was like a whole thing. I was born in a time or coming up through a time where you could just now see a pregnant teacher at your school, and she better have a ring on her finger, okay? And she better be married and all that good stuff. I just think it's so restrictive. Like, I don't know. We expect these women to be just saints or something, and that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I would have threw up the deuces with the quickness because how much is she making? Let's see what the article says. See if there are any numbers in there.
It gotta be. It's not that hard to make more than what a teacher make.
Right.
$42,000
$42,000 a year to teach.
$1 million.
Oh, goodbye.
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 Job. Why you even apply for a new job? You making $1 million online.
I'm done. Just no, you know what? I resign. Goodbye.
Okay. She was probably trying to keep her health benefits.
She probably liked her students.
No, that ain't it.
That's what, see, Wendy. See, me and you, Wendy, we here. Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? Maybe she just loved her students and she didn't want to leave her students. Because
honestly, a lot of these students, they don't really have great support at home, and it's a bonding thing for these teachers. And she was probably like, hey, I'm gonna be here for y'all. Maybe.
To me, it's not even a conversation.
Right. So, bye.
But I mean, it does speak to the economy that we're in. I remember being in school in maybe 2010, and my teacher would always say, there's a new social contract. Company or employees will not work for companies anymore for 20, 30, 40 years to have this good retirement. No. You will have solopreneurs who specialize in one thing and generalize in many. And we are here. It's mind-blowing. A decade and a half later, we're here. So there are all these new implications.
Right on the money.
On the money. Kim Weller, look her up. Dr. Kim Weller, to this day.
I'm gonna look her up. I'm gonna ask her for the lottery numbers. Okay.
But we have to think about this. I think what's mind-blowing in the job market right now is a lot of these companies are not willing to conform or accommodate what employees need. They spend more time on turnover. If I got 10 or 12 employees that are my ride or die, that I know I can count on them, it takes more time to train and develop. If I know that Wendy's going to come to work, she hits her quarterly goals, because I was in sales, pharmaceuticals, nonprofits, did all kind of stuff. If I'm performing, I'm confused, why wouldn't you want to keep me? Why wouldn't you want to incentivize me to stay? Because I know that Wendy and her team is going to bring us in $500,000 every quarter because she produces.
No, they don't. And do that. Works.
Yeah, that doesn't make like I be thinking to myself, like, y'all are dumb. And so I'm like, why would you not want to maintain your top talent and then bring someone in to work with me and let me train and develop them, so that when I'm ready to whatever I'm going to do, there's a proper replacement? But you fire people, you don't give people enough time. That's why I quit my job. You hire me to do this role, you're not letting me work, you're micromanaging me, you're asking me how come I ain't hit my numbers. Sir, I'm in this meeting every Monday talking about something I already do. I know how to read my reports. I already know what I did. I could have closed a deal or two for you in this past hour because we want to have a meeting about the meeting. I'm really confused about this.
Yeah, that's because our systems are not collaborative. Our work systems are not collaborative. Okay, it's a fight to who's going to be at the top, who knows more than the other, instead of us all joining in together and all working on a certain goal. It's an individualistic system. So no, they're not going to let people shine, and they're not going to let people go in and do their job. They try to get the people out. The top salespeople, they trying to get them gone.
That's why I feel like they're trying to ban TikTok. I feel like they're trying to ban TikTok because, one, information is spreading too fast. We're learning too much. We're being independent. We are thriving, making great side hustle incomes that are really full-time incomes. They don't like that because now we have options. We don't have to go to work. We don't have to do all of these things. We're traveling. We're moving out to different countries. We're doing all of the things. And I mean, they are losing their minds.
Mm-hmm. It's scary. It's scary to think that you can have a 12-year-old that can get online on YouTube and make $1 million and get to skip college, student loan debt, interview processes, all those types of things that are set up to bind us to a system that has not been working for a very long time. It wasn't set up to be working. So yeah, they scared as hell. They're scared.
I mean, they made a big decision. What do you say?
That's what I'm saying. To your point, you're not retaining your top talent. Look what happened. You left and took that talent and that knowledge resource with you. And guess what? I guarantee you they'll bring you back in as a consultant and pay you 10 times more. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. No.
I'm enjoying this life.
I imagine.
She said, "I'm enjoying this life."
I get to have. Well, I didn't stop that, little girl. Sorry. I didn't get to. It wasn't like this all the time. It was a lot of grind mode, a lot of long hours, taking client calls up until 10 o'clock at night. And I try to tip my people tell me all the time on social media, when you just make this look so easy. Well, I optimize every couple of months to make it better. But now my kids are older. They're 9 and 8. I started when I quit my corporate job officially when the oldest was 6 months old. And so now I have slow mornings. I don't have to start working till 10 o'clock in the morning. I get to do all of these cool things. And it's the little things. Sometimes it's not just money. Hell, I wanted my time back. I wanted to be mentally present in my life. I wanted to raise my children. I've had a nanny since I've had my second born. I was pregnant 2 years in a row. So I have a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old. I had a nanny the whole 8 years. I travel with her. I take her wherever I go. I took her to Italy with us 2 weeks last year in the summer. But I would never be able to afford this lifestyle had I stayed in my role at my corporate job. I make decent money over there, but not the kind of money that I make now. And again, it's not about the money. It's about, I can stop my meetings at 2 o'clock and be in the line at school to pick them up. I can drop them off. I can go read to them at school. I can go to the doctor's office. If I want to go to the spa in the middle of the day, I can. At a job, I got to constantly ask for time off and explain to them why I got to do this. And actually, I can get my job done in 3 to 4 hours, but I have to be there for 8 hours. And sometimes my brain doesn't work like that. Like my muse shows up late at night. So I work a lot late at night. And when you have a traditional job, that's why a lot of people struggle, because maybe their brains ain't on when they're supposed to be at work. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody is not a 9 to 5er. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I'd rather work, with you, I'd rather work 3 to 4 good hours, right? And get some output and get something done than sit there for 8 hours riding the clock. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts on that point before we move on to our next one? I found a really good one on Lorraine's page. I went and looked at Lorraine's stuff for viral topics, and I found a really good one.
Tell us.
That's about to be.
I ain't pick one of your crazy ones. I stay away from the other ones. I bet you do the thing, but
He's gonna pick a crazy one today.
let's go with this one. So we'll react.
We are a food truck. We still have to make that other Kool-Aid too. I would want to do the blue raspberry, but I don't know if that one came in yet. I am co-owner with my children's father, so we do this together as a team. It's like I get off of one job, then I'm in my car changing, taking off my shirt, and then changing and get to the next event. And they're like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know." But I've been doing it. I have 3 daughters that are always on the go, so I have to get them to school and ready so that I can get to work on time. I've been working for a cell phone company for the last 13 years, and it's just not cutting it for me anymore.
This is what building for a man looks like in real time.
Okay.
If you're a pick-me in real life, you're a pick-me in business, period. That was a clip from a show called Side Hustles that you can find on Roku streaming. And if you missed my last video about this particular situation on the show, you would know that this woman actually has no dog in the fight when it comes to her business. Her name is not on the bank accounts and her name is not on the business license. Just like her name is probably not on them kids that she had by her child's father, who she is in business with. Been there, done that, have the t-shirt, okay? But we're here to learn from our mistakes, not keep making the same ones over and over again. This woman is working 2 jobs, 3 if you count motherhood. And you can clearly see from the clip who's actually running things and who's conceptualizing this business. But her name's not on it, although she clearly labels herself as a co-owner. At best, legally, she's an employee, but if she doesn't have a W-2, she's actually more like a volunteer. As a business consultant, I always advise my client to not go into any type of partnership with a business that they intend to be their bread and butter. Bread and butter meaning this is the business that is my livelihood. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I take care of my kids. This is especially important for women, okay? When you get into these relationships, whether you get married or not, and you go to adding your spouse or your boyfriend's name to the paperwork for your business, you got to keep in mind that, especially if he's working a 9 to 5, when you split, if you split, God forbid, he can walk off with that 9 to 5, and he'll also walk off with a piece of your business. When you work a 9 to 5, you do not have ownership. There's no way for him to deed you part of his 9 to 5. That just doesn't exist. So if you must take on a business partner, if you must go into business with a man, make sure it is not the bread and butter business that you use to take care of your entire livelihood, because then you put your livelihood and your standard of living at risk.
Woo.
Just said a mouthful. So,
Man.
Lorraine, I'm going to give you a chance.
Girl, I need to go back.
That was loaded.
Yeah, there's a video that I did yesterday that went viral, and it was just from a clip of that. And she sat down with the mentors, and they were like, "Okay, so how's this business structured?" And she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, well, you know, whose name is on the business? His name is on the business, and his name is on the bank account."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but you see this a lot. I mean, you see this a lot. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, babe, we are in the 2024s now. Okay. We can have bank accounts. We can have credit cards. We can own businesses. We can put our names on deeds. We can inherit property. We can do all of that stuff. But we fought very hard to gain that. So why are we doing work and laboring? I didn't see the part yesterday where she called herself a co-owner. How are you a co-owner?
Oh, here's the thing. Go ahead, Wendy. Go ahead.
I feel so some of these men, because I know I'm going to get roasted, they're really great at like painting a picture and manipulating a situation. And they'll say things to women like, "But you don't trust me. I got your back.
No.
We're doing it." All of this. So she probably has not stood up for herself because she doesn't want to rock the boat, because he's probably doing other things that we don't see that's making her feel like she has to compromise, because maybe for whatever reason they're in a good spot. She's not trying to get out of that, and she just wants to be a good partner. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's a lot of rationale about why women make those decisions. She's not trying to rock the boat. And honestly, for a lot of us, that's another thing. A lot of people do not have adequate business acumen. Like they're in these internet streets, they're using words and jargon that don't make any sense. And I'm like, what is that? Where did that come from? Like, put it in context, like use it in a sentence. What is what does that mean? And then she just wants to be the good girl, the good wife, or whatever she is. And maybe it's not just she's a pick me. She feels like she's doing the right thing in her head.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like the definition of pick me. Honestly, it's like, you are bending your own wants or your own needs and your own desires in order to keep a situation that may or may not serve you. That is literally the definition of a pick me. So, I think that a lot of what you said was correct. She is definitely putting herself in this position, and she's not standing up for herself, because a lot of us have been taught this, man is the leader, he's the head, he's the this and that other. So we do a lot in our relationships, especially in our community, to make sure that man is solid, or he appears solid, and meanwhile he's standing solid and we're in the background just doing all the things and building it up and making it solid. And then if something happens, then that man is solid and you are SOL.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the work you do, and your Melissa and some of the other ladies that I love watching you, that I've learned a lot is around decentering men, because you have to understand we have been conditioned that our existence is of lesser value than what a man brings to the table. But at the end of the day, they fail to forget we are the creators. I created a whole human that came out of my womb. What the hell did you do? And I'm not saying that we need to belittle or one sex is better than the other, but a lot of people don't know their power because we've been conditioned to just be quiet, be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
And I love,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine. And I love your TikToks, specifically Melissa's TikToks, because it breaks down the psychological reasons why we make the decisions that we do. And y'all are not teaching us to hate men. It's y'all are teaching us be aware when the situation is toxic and it's not a healthy situation for you, and what your options are to either cope with what you've dealt with or stop the abuse. And because we've been separated for so long and society has shamed us for speaking out about our broken homes or our abuse or things of that nature, now TikTok humanizes us. Like, I love to see, like, damn, Lorraine's amazing. Like, when you showed the hell up talking about your damn divorces and shit, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I knew that because I knew you personally in real life, but for you to say it out loud and break down all of that stuff, I'm like, she's gorgeous. Like, huh? You know, in my head. But now other women, it doesn't matter what walk of life we come from, we're all having the same conversation, and it doesn't matter if I make $10,000 a month or I'm on welfare, we have a similar story. That's been powerful for me.
Oh yeah, and that's why they want to ban the TikTok, because women are like, because before, like you said, we had been taught to, you know, keep our head down, keep business in the house, don't talk about it. We were shamed when we did talk about stuff. I mean, I remember in my own situation, even talking to, you know, my mom and my family members, well, it's just the way you carry yourself. And it's just, no. Because now we see that this is something that is similar amongst a lot of us. A lot of us are coming out with the same stories. And we have to heal that. And that's why you'll never see me talk about, oh, she's stupid, or she's just dumb, or, oh, you know, just like I would never talk about, you know, survivors, or what do you call that when the survivor I'm sorry,
domestic abuse, I think it's DV.
When a survivor starts to identify with their captor, I forgot what it's called.
Stockholm
syndrome. You don't look at somebody that has developed Stockholm syndrome and say they're dumb. No, that is something that is literally a mental thing. We have been conditioned from the beginning of time to move in this way, and we are just now the generation that is breaking this stuff down, that is able to see it for what it is. So no, but when I say pick me, I don't mean, oh, she's stupid or whatever. It's just a set of actions that
makes sense. I'm happy you broke that down. But it's not just with men either. We're doing it with toxic parents, toxic relationships. We're doing it at toxic workforce. There's a lot of creators that I absolutely love. They're starting to teach us how to better negotiate our salaries, knowing what to say and do when things happen, and take it to HR and the legal jargon to use so that we don't get ourselves in a bigger pickle. Like, I love TikTok.
Yeah, you're both hitting on a psychological phenomenon. It's called people like me, right? And that's why TikTok and social media is so powerful. It's actually a huge economic phenomenon. If you have a chance, check out the book Nudge. But that's what makes people buy, right? They identify with people that are like them.
Right.
I like that.
Yes. That's exactly what it is, which I'm so hard at. Yes, so back to business.
That's your audience, people who also cannot, connect with people like them.
Like, wait, you had a toxic relationship? I'll be like, yeah, I did. That happened. Yeah, but it's totally erased. I'm not talking about it.
And it can be, that's part of our defense mechanism.
It is.
Too. Yes. Yeah, I didn't always show up to the table telling all my business, and I still haven't told all my business. Y'all,
that's just a little bit.
I'm just scratching the surface. every day I think of some stuff that I want to start off. Girl, my third ex-husband. Then I'll be like, you know what? Oh, not today. But it's something just like Wendy said, like we're exposing it. Everything is literally being exposed right now. So it's something that is literally like pulling things out of a lot of us right now when we're ready.
I think people reach their limit, and you got to understand we were on effing lockdown in COVID for 2-3 years, and we had time to like separate ourselves from the noise. We were forced to sit with ourselves. Like I renovated my entire house because I was like, I work here. I'm here 24/7. I love it here. Let's make this a home. People started doing their weight loss journeys. Divorces were at an all-time high. That's why they pissed off again.
Like, I don't like you. I can't sit with you. I don't like you.
I've been for like 6 months, like I'm done. And I think during that time, people took everything back to the basics. It was just kind of like, I don't need all of this.
Risa Tisa was going through her stuff during.
Now that was great. That was absolutely insane. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, but it only took 1 or 2 episodes for me to really understand. Oh, I see. They've been there, done that. I got it.
Right.
I like the recaps, and I think what I love the best about the Risa Tisa thing, like it literally unified the world. Like it didn't matter, black, white, younger, old. Like everyone had something to say that was positive, and it was a lot of people that had amazing empathy for her. Like I love that. That was cool to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
people either had a tremendous empathy because we've all been in those situations, or I have a friend, a sorority sister. She says a lot of Risa Tisas on here acting like they ain't Risa Tisas.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. and that's how you know a lot of us are opening our eyes because we're seeing stuff like TikTok. And that's what I was just saying, going back to our moms and back to the women in our family. A lot of them like to try to play like none of that stuff happened to them. We only see like the end result, or the peacekeeping situation where it's like, I don't even want to fight no more, whatever, that type of thing. And now a lot of us their daughters and granddaughters are like, no, we about to change this because this makes no sense. We do too much. We do too much to have to endure this much crap. We do too much. I remember when I started saying that, I was probably like 30, 31 years old. will be 40 this year. And I remember, I do too much. I do too much. It was like a thing for 1 year. No, I do too much. Like my entire thing for like 2-3 years. I do too damn much.
That clip for you in the last marriage when I first met you. And I remember coming over to your house and you were on the team, you were on Zoom with your new virtual team that you were building, and you were like going over, you were like, you know what, Wendy, this ain't it. I want a better life. And you just kind of shifted. You were like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And that was it.
That's actually how I found you, Lorraine, because to the video clip that we just watched, in addition to now working and managing these, 6-figure, 7-figure businesses as co-owners or owners or whatever you want to call it, you also are managing the household, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're giving, that's a job. You're giving 150%, right?
It's definitely a job. I had a girl comment on that video. She was like, I wish moms would stop calling motherhood a job because it's raising your kids. Girl, this is a job. This is non-ending labor. So much so that I have outsourced probably almost everything you can think of outside of having a private chef. And I got factor meals, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna do some
How are those?
That. But I've even done meal prep and outsourced that at this point in time. Ain't nobody got time to be having to, operate at this level to be walking around, cosplaying a child. You're not having your stuff in order. You don't have life insurance. You don't have health insurance. You ain't got, your wills and stuff in place. You don't have retirement. Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah. Nobody has time for that.
That's the other issue. Like until now, other women that wasn't in a position to make those types of investment, or their husbands controlled it, and they were like, why do we need to get a maid when you can cook and clean? Because I got my cleaners right after you got your cleaners. That's made a world of a difference.
Not right after. Tell the truth. That was like 6 years because I was on your behind.
She's right. But I finally got it. But I think the problem with what we're coming to is we've been made that the more that we put on our back, the more valuable we are. But then there's no time for us. We're pouring everything out into our children, to our husbands, our significant others. But we were taught it was really selfish for self-care, or they looked at self-care like, oh, I'm going to go get my nails done. You did a video about that one day. You were like, it's really not relaxing when I go get my toes done. And I went last week and I thought, Lorraine's right. This is not relaxing. This is maintenance. And I think the other conversation that has to happen, like, we don't know what self-care really is. Yeah.
Well, people wear it like a badge of honor. I'll just say that. They wear that burnout like a badge of honor. Right. And that story is changing.
Hey, I'm real about mine. I can take ownership of mine. I be like,
be burnt out. I'm gonna be burnt out for me. Okay. Right. This is the mode that I'm in my life right now. I'm having back issues and stuff like that. And I'll say, no, I'm not gonna do that. And it's always, not always, but I've had a little pushback. Well, oh, you did da 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 da, and that was on your back. Yeah, but that was for me. That was something I wanted to do. That's something that benefited me. So I get to control where my burnout is, and if I'm gonna burn myself out, and how I'm gonna do it, when I'm gonna do it, and when I decide I'm gonna stop, because that's called autonomy. All right. And I was born with that. That's not something that somebody gives me. They get to tell me. I used to be really bad about this. I would just keep going, and I would wait for somebody else to tell me, oh, take a break, or you need a break. Nah, baby, I sit down and everybody around me can figure it out. Once I be like, no, I'm good. I just do it.
Now that I have done now I have gotten to a point to where I'm like, oh yeah, dishes ain't washed. You want dishes washed?
Figure it out. I ain't got no clean clothes. Oh, okay. Well, I guess somebody's gonna get it washed or something. Because I'm done. I put in my time. I used to, let people feel guilty about, when I had my youngest, about, oh, you're not spending time, you need a break and stuff. Honey, ain't nobody spent no more time with that baby than me. Nobody. None of you. Nobody. Not a grandma, not a man, not a daddy, not a nothing. Nobody has spent more time with that baby than me. None of them. Okay, so who are you to tell me what I need to be doing, or complain about how I'm doing it, when I'm the one spending the most time?
And so I want to make a point about time, something I realized recently, within the last actually couple of days. When you are so busy out here doing all these things, that's taken away washing dishes, driving my kids, dropping my son off at work. I'm like, dude, you gonna have to bike it, or we gonna have to figure something out, bro. That is time that I could have been, and you only have a limited amount, to Lorraine's point earlier, right? We only have a limit of the time, even if we talk about lifespan on this earth.
Right.
You have to maximize it. And if I'm spending time doing little stuff here, little stuff, like, all of that adds up. And I'm like, I have a proposal that's due, and I'm like, this is nuts. I gotta start managing a bit better.
The pressure to achieve the exact same output as somebody else, and that's my whole main issue with the whole 50-50 conversation. You're going to expect me to produce literally 10 times the output as you are, or 50% of the output financially as you are, while I'm also managing all the things. There's so many hurdles and things that I have to overcome before I can even go to work. I can't open my eyes in the morning and just go to work. There's 100 tasks that I must do before I can open my eyes and just go to work.
Right. Right.
As a woman, as a mom, there's things that you don't deal with. I go through debilitating pain 5 or 6 days out of the month. My hormones do like this over the month. How am I expected to do the exact same output that you are when I don't have the same the same setup, the same advantages as you do? That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
I had it out the other day with a guy. He was trying to tell me that I needed to do all of these things. And I said, you're a divorcee. Your child is with her mother 3 weeks. You have time to sleep, rest, brainstorm, network, go to the gym, do all of these things. Your time is your time. And even if you have your child, you only have her 2 or 3 days out of a month. I get up in the morning, I cook, take them to school, come home, start my day, work, go get them from school, cook again, clean up the kitchen, homework, activity with them so they can feel like I love them, get them to bed, then come back to work, go to bed at a ridiculous time at night, and then it starts over. So my nervous system is going to be unbalanced because I have been in survival mode for a long time, but you get to pick and choose how you exert your energy. I don't get to turn it off. Now, I do understand there's deadbeat moms. I'm not one of them. But for the rest of us who are trying to be decent humans, it's a lot. So you're right. Like, it makes no sense. I got to pay 50-50 and I'm holding down the household or keeping your child alive. And then all you got to do is go to work, and then you come home, and then you're down in the man cave watching TV with a beer, and I done fed you, and then I got to bring you a plate, and then I got to do whatever I got to do at night when you're ready to go to bed. Like, what? What are we doing here?
Not equitable. And it's crazy because then you look at me and say, well, I'm the stronger one. Where I come from, we didn't do that type of stuff. Men don't sit down while they women is working. I never saw that growing up. Okay. I saw if anybody was sitting down in the shade and getting a rest, it was my mama or my aunties or, you know what I'm saying, like that, because men thought of themselves as being the stronger sex or whatever. They were the leaders, they were the responsible ones, or whatever you had it, and they displayed it in their actions. It wasn't just a bunch of running their mouth like this. So I don't understand how you could see somebody doing all the things and run and kick your feet back and feel like that. Like if somebody didn't get no sleep, it was gonna be my daddy. It was not the women of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird to me. It's very weird.
We have the similar thing. Like, my parents worked as a team in a unit. My parents were married 33 years. And that's another argument I have with people. I was like, I had a daddy. He was active. I had him until I was 28, until he passed away. I know what love is. I know what a relationship looks like. I know what partnership looks like. Like, my father had a plan. He's been dead 13 years. He still takes care of my mom in the nick of the end.
Same. The same situation. We still getting provided for off my dad. My dad passed 5 or 6 years ago. Okay, 5 or 6 years ago, and my dad is still showing up in ways that I hardly been able to get him alive, man, to show up. So, and you know what I'm saying, and that's what, going back to that thing. It was like, oh, well, you don't have enough this in your life. I see somebody said these men don't follow God, and I don't want to go too far off in that, but you don't have this in your life. You don't have that in your life. It's not really the case, because now my mom is going through the same stuff, trying to find somebody that will meet that same standard in, this dating scene. So I don't know what it is, but it ain't it. That's all I got to say.
Right.
Yep. So we've hit on a lot today, and I see Jessica, you're back with the smile, right?
I was in the backstage, just like.
And the other thing I'll just add is time is a currency, y'all. We keep talking about all these other, kind of resources, and that's something we also teach kind of on the negotiation piece, right? When it comes to these jobs, time is a currency, money is a currency. There's different ways to negotiate, right? So we've got to start treating it as such. And I've heard, I think, every person on this call say that, or on this podcast say that today.
Right.
Yeah. Time is the only thing we cannot get back. And I think a lot of people don't understand what that really means. I think they feel like there's going to be more time, and it's not.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an amazing episode of the Viral Cash Flow Podcast. Thank you so much to our guest, Wendy Nicole Anderson, for showing up. Wendy, go ahead and tell folks where they can find you.
You can always find me on my website, wendynicoleanderson.com. I'm on Facebook the most. Wendy Nicole Anderson over there. I have a free Facebook group called Rebel Queen. I'm trying to do better on TikTok. Believe it or not, I don't like being on camera, but Lorraine's been sticking it to me, so I'm trying to do better. But those are the two main places you're going to find me. I feel more comfortable being a keyboard gangster writing versus being in front of the camera. But I'm going to work on that.
Well, you could be a keyboard gangster on TikTok as well, so it don't have to be your face. So you can also do that. That'll be our next workshop we pull up. Jenny, I'll let you go ahead and take us out.
Yeah, so thank you, Wendy. Thank you for telling us where you are online, telling us about your services and products today, and really just dropping some gems. I think we were all like, oh, yeah, right? Because we're all showing up, right, in different ways, but we all have similar stories and, kind of things that we've been through, which is why, again, people relate to us. So I'm so happy to have you on our very first podcast of the Viral Cash Flow podcast. We will be back again next week. Where our guest, I believe, will be India. Is that correct, Jessica?
Lindsay, yes.
India Lindsay, yep. I know. I think I caught you off guard, but yeah, so.
No names. Go ahead, no names. No man.
Oh my gosh. No, but we're very happy. We love smart women. We love intelligent women. Wendy, it's been a pleasure. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much. I love what I do, and thank you guys for inviting me in today.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
I am tickled.